I feel like if I don't address the massive elephant in the room, I'll probably never be able to move on. The cat is out of the bag. CM Punk has returned to WWE after 9 years away from the company, and man, so much has happened since then. Don't worry everyone, I'm not really going to talk about Brawl Out or All In this year because frankly there's no reason to. This also won't be an AEW is dying video, but on the other hand, it's also not everything is currently sunshine and rainbows video either. There's this thing called nuance that wrestling fans don't seem to know about. It always has to be one extreme or the other rather than finding middle ground. Whether you're a Punk lover or a Punk hater, it's over. If you hate him, you can continue to watch the promotions he's not on. If you love him, you still get to see him work. Yes, I'm naively putting faith in wrestling fans to finally move on, but we all know that's not gonna happen. Look, I'm not here to change anyone's mind, and you shouldn't try to change someone else's mind on this topic either. The fact of the matter is, Punk's return to WWE was a huge moment in the professional wrestling landscape, just as his AEW debut was back in 2021. The similarities in both returns are quite uncanny too. CM Punk has returned to the professional wrestling company that currently has all the momentum in the world in his hometown of Chicago. It's true now, and it was true back in 2021. So much can change in only 2 years. For Punk, it's a return to the company that he vilified for nearly a decade, and for AEW, it's yet another blow in perception. You can be the most hardcore of AEW fans right now, enjoying every single little thing that they're currently doing, but that still wouldn't change the fact that they've been losing the very real perception war for over a year now. And you might say, why should I let that affect my enjoyment? And I'd say, you shouldn't. If you love everything that AEW is doing right now, then more power to you. I just have the unfortunate task of being someone who's covered the promotion from nearly day one, and I choose to talk about the tough topics that other AEW hardcore fans won't talk about. But it's simply objective facts to say that the hottest company in the world just got hotter, and barring a catastrophe, they show no signs of slowing down. And believe me when I say that the WWE audience is gonna welcome back Punk as if he's God himself, just as they did with Cody. And even as Punk's biggest fan, I can admit that people calling him a hypocrite for going back after all he said is pretty much fair. It's not like people are making anything up, they're just simply pointing out all the stuff he said over the past 9 years. Remember what I just said about middle ground? I can acknowledge that my favorite wrestlers are grown, not treat them like babies, and that sometimes they're hypocrites. Yes, I'm patting myself in the back, but will that affect my fandom for Punk? I guess that's the big question that my viewers want to know. Will I start watching WWE and begin to make videos on WWE now that Punk is there? And the only answer I can give you as of right now is not really, kinda. And look, this isn't even me playing up my I don't like WWE shtick. It's more of me admitting that I'm old now and I only get so much free time these days. Back when AEW had every single one of my favorite wrestlers under one umbrella, it made life easier that I only had to follow one promotion. I only get so much free time these days, guys. I would much rather spend that time that I have hanging out with my loved ones and enjoying my other hobbies. So much of my life already revolves around wrestling since this channel blew up. So in short, I don't think I'll be adding more wrestling programming to my schedule. You can expect me to catch up with Punk clips on social media, which I think is a much better route anyway, because I won't have to sit through a whole 3 hours watching stuff I mostly don't enjoy. And if something moves me, whether it's a promo, a match, or a feud altogether, maybe I'll consider talking about it in a video. I saw an interesting tweet that compared Punk leaving AEW to Cody leaving AEW and how both were foundational parts to the promotion, and now that they're gone, it'll be difficult to restore the feeling. I had to address this because I know this is going to be a common sentiment amongst wrestling fans. Punk and Cody's departures are completely different situations. For one, Cody was actually a founding member of AEW and believed in the promotion from day one, which is why one can argue that his departure hurt the spirit of AEW more so than Punk's firing. Punk was offered a starting spot with AEW the moment the company was founded, and he reportedly turned them down until the company established itself as the promotion with the most momentum. I love Punk, but he was not a foundational piece. He was more so the cherry on top. I can only speak for myself, but to me it always felt like the formation of AEW would eventually lead to Punk's return to wrestling. But he came in when it was easy to come in, and that's another instant of me not being blinded by my fandom for Punk. Am I disappointed that it didn't work out? Of course. There are many what ifs that I wish we could have seen play out, but at the end of the day, Punk and AEW just wasn't meant to be. One thing that I saw on social media as well, which I agree with, was when someone said that without AEW, this big Punk homecoming to WWE doesn't happen. For better or for worse, AEW has made this possible. I'll forever wonder, what if the beef was squashed at the beginning? Or what if everyone agreed to sit down after the fact? What if management decided to be exactly that, rather than being everyone's friend and downplaying the situation? The hard truth that neither Punk stans or AEW stans want to accept is that no one is completely blameless in this entire Punk AEW saga. I really don't want to start another debate about picking sides and terrible management, even though I know it'll happen anyway. Will Punk be on his best behavior this time around, or will he be yet again a ticking time bomb? They clearly played into his divisive nature with all the fake worked shoot stuff with Rollins during his debut. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But when it comes to Punk's time in AEW, it'll always be one of the biggest what ifs in wrestling. But we can't dwell on it now. Things happened the way they did because these people are who they are. To wish that things had gone differently would be to wish these people weren't themselves. So where does that leave AEW? As I said earlier, no, they're not dying, but it's certainly not all sunshine and rainbows right now either. It's so hard to even have a conversation about AEW these days because so many people come into this conversation with their mind already made up. I'm willing to bet everything that I own that this video itself will have at least 5 LOL AEW dead company comments. It's just the landscape that we're living in right now. Believe it or not though, those same people probably were finding something to hate about AEW in 2021 when they were at their strongest. My point being is, there's always going to be haters. What should AEW do? I would say keep doing what they're doing, but apparently that's the problem. Sure, there's some cool stuff currently happening, such as the Continental Classic, Christian Cage, Swerve, and the signing of Will Ospreay, but at this point I feel like I'm the grumpy old man who will never be happy. And I know that must be disheartening to hear for a lot of you who have been here since the beginning, since back when I started this channel during the pandemic. But I never started this channel to be the guy who praised everything AEW did. It just so happens that back then I was actually enjoying everything they were doing. Remember that this is just an opinion channel and that nothing I say is definitive. If you enjoy AEW and it brings you joy, then I'm happy that you're feeling what I did from 2019 to 2021. I sometimes wish I didn't have to view wrestling as almost like a job these days. This channel changed everything about how I watch and approach wrestling, for better or for worse. At this point, I'm just continuing to make videos because I've cultivated one of the coolest communities here on this channel. Thanks guys for keeping me going. We'll never agree on everything, but what I think we could all agree on is this. There are bigger things in life than wrestling, but at its best, wrestling is better than the things you like. Take care everyone.